To me, the phrase ringing the bell symbolizes the success that you have after completing a difficult task. I think about in fitness or strongman competitions when somebody's asked to climb a really tall 20 or 30-foot rope, and at the top, what do? They ring the bell to prove that they did it. Some of these competitions, they have to do it over and over again, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times before they could pass to the next round, and each time they ring the bell. The other time ringing the bell comes to mind is when we're at a place of service and you get excellent service. Sometimes there's a sign right next to the bell that says ring the bell for excellent service. Well, now it's my turn. I'm ringing the bell for my National Life Group agents, the ones that are making it happen right now. My name is Matt Bell, and this is Ringing the Bell. I'm doing a show. You're the first guest, although I've thought about it for months. It's called Ringing the Bell. You know, my thought is it's been like when I hear about if someone's ringing the bell, it's like, you know, when those people, they're climbing the ropes or whatever else, and they're climbing up, and to prove that they reach the top first, they ring the bell, right? Or there's in a lot of places around the country, if you give exceptional service, someone will ring the bell, you know, like ring the bell for exceptional service. And so I just thought, and my last name is Bell, so I thought we'd put them all together and say, I'm going to do a show, and it's going to highlight the best producers that we have in the company. I'm going to do it every week for kind of a different purpose. And I thought, what better way to start, because we're starting this off, and I know we're 2 weeks in, but you were the #1 producer in April. Yeah, and you're #2 in the entire company right now.
Okay.
In terms of annuity production. So I know that you've done a lot of annuity business in the past. You obviously have done quite a bit so far this year. And I loved a couple of the little stories that you shared on John's call whenever we had that a few weeks ago, you know, when he had that contest for Q1.
Right.
And you talked about the business owners and a few things. So I thought she'd be a great guest to have on really kind of my first Ringing the Bell show.
Okay, awesome.
So, yeah, it's just going to be kind of informal. And hopefully we'll give the producers out there sort of what they want. I think, you know, right now some people are struggling to find their way in this new environment we're in. I know I'm in that boat. But you've done a really nice job, even in the last 60 days of getting some business, you know, to the table and doing a few things. And you almost made it sound easy when we were on that call with John. So I was like, oh man, so we got to ask her, we got to figure out all your secrets. So that's kind of the goal today. What do you think?
Awesome. And I am just, you know, plugging along. I call my clients. I have not had any issues whatsoever with people telling me they didn't want to talk to me during this virus. As a matter of fact, I think many times the adult conversation is welcomed. And it's been awesome catching up with people because I know where they are. They're either at home or they're in their office by themselves. So you you pretty much have them pinned down. And it's actually been easier to hook up via computer and on the phone. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm following up with established clients. I've had a couple of referrals. Now that's the interesting part, Matt, when you call somebody during a shelter in and you haven't really met them before. So that's been new to me, introducing myself, because I like to go out and meet people in person and give them my brochure, my list of services, my business card, and then go for a second appointment where I'd like to do a fact finder. Okay. So what I'm doing now is I'm introducing myself, and I really haven't I've done more over the phone than the computer. And so it's really interesting. They know of me, but they don't know me. So I'm explaining all of this over the phone, but it's been pretty well received.
Yeah.
It's just now I have to decide, am I going to do the fact finders now over the computer or over the phone, or am I going to wait for all this madness to settle down? And you know, I don't think this madness is going to settle down for a while. So I've pretty much made a decision this week. I'm going to continue on like I'm doing, and I'm going to do the fact finders via computer. And you know, what's involved there is setting up the appointment, sending them a reminder, hey, I'm going to call you 9 in the morning, have your coffee ready, and shooting them an email. Even though I've already sent ahead something for them to see, I may send it again, because a couple of times I've had some people just forget me. It's not that they didn't want to see me or talk to me. They just forgot it. So I'm learning as I go. And it's just kind of, coming together slowly but surely.
Well, that's great. That's great. So you're staying at it. You're using referrals. What kind of language do you use so you have a client, you'd like to get referrals from them, or you think they have a network of people that would be perfect for you. Can you walk some of the people that might be listening through what you typically say? When I'm
going to ask for referrals? Yes. Well, I always do that on the front end. And I say, this is how I get compensated. I get compensated 2 ways. One is through commissions on products, and the other way is through referrals. And the agreement that I like to set up on the front end is, if you, Matt, are in a better position, having done business with Robin Griffin, if I have showed you how to get a better rate of return on your money, how to get higher quality insurance, how to put out a fire before it starts, then I would ask that you would refer me to at least 5 people who are in a situation similar to yours. Let me explain. I don't want to do business, Matt, with your neighbor. I don't want to do business with your sister. I am looking for that entrepreneurial personality, okay? I deal with small business owners, and there's a certain electricity there. So I am looking for a small business owner, preferably been in business for at least 5 years and over the age of 50. That's my niche market. So again, if you're in a better position, having done business with Robin Griffin, are you comfortable with referring some people that you know to me? And then I always stress too, Matt, don't speculate. Don't try to size them up on what they need or what they don't need, because you never know. You never know. And some of my best clients are those that I called on, and they have told me, we're all good. We have everything taken care of. I just don't think you can help me. And, and then I come back with, many times people use me as a second opinion. They think they have everything the way they want it, but you never know. And situations change too. And so I come at it, if they hesitate a little bit, from the second opinion position.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, that was great. That was great little tips for everybody. So you had, can you tell us, so you had a couple of really nice sized cases. I actually don't have them in front of me specifically, but this last one was over 600,000.
Right.
Can you tell us about the cases that you've done just this year? Maybe start with the last one, and then if you wanted to kind of go into those few and why, kind of what you were working with them on, maybe a little bit how you met them, but then kind of what the discovery meeting, what you found during that discovery session that kind of led you to wanting to solve some problems for them.
Yes, this fairly large case that you're talking about, it's really interesting. I called on this business 3 times in the last 23 years before I actually got a fact finder with them. Okay. This business has been around since 1935.
Wow.
And it's a 3rd generation business. So I've talked to the grandfather, the father, and the son. And the 3rd time I called on the business, and I had an appointment. I had a scheduled appointment to go out and introduce myself and do exactly what I said. I called them on the phone and I said, I'd like to come out and meet you and share with you what I do for small business owners. And I go out there with my list, my brochure, and my business card and just chat for a few minutes. And this guy told me, I've got a planner in Charlotte. I'm happy with him. I got one guy that handles my insurance. I've got one guy that handles all of my securities and my father's accounts. And I just don't think you can help me, but I'll use you as a second opinion. And the son's attitude was a little bit different. He was like, I'm interested in a couple of things. So I ended up doing a fact finder on the son a couple weeks later, and the son relayed everything to the father that we went over and said, hey, this girl's different. She's asking me questions I've never been asked before, and I'm kind of excited about it. So then the dad got involved, and I started getting all of his information, and boy, this was a job, because he had lots of annuities, lots of policies, lots of investments, and lots of real estate. So literally, Matt, it was 3 months of getting it together before I could even input it to do a presentation, okay? And he was very scattered, very scattered. This guy so did not have it together. And,
right.
and then his insurance guy was not communicating with the securities guy. And so some things were duplicated, and he was exposed in several areas. And so long story short, they had quite a tax issue for this year. Lots of money, very profitable. And that's their biggest bugaboo, is how can we save on taxes? What can I do? And in talking to one of the associates at Summit Advisory, Edgar Roberts, he told me about a guy who has some creative plans. I got in touch with him. Edgar had met him at a seminar, and he designed a defined benefit plan where we could pre-fund and some money and save on taxes this year. And I shared that with Brian Pritchard, and Brian says, hey, we can do this too. I said, really? And he said, yep, give me a week, let me work on it, and let me shoot you some illustrations. And so several illustrations going back and forth, and a lot of tweaking here and there and fine tuning. And I think illustration set number 3, we had a hit. It was awesome. I got the father and son in here and conferenced in the CPA, and he said, yeah, let's do this like yesterday. And so that was that case. Case. And so there's a lot of planning to do, still with that company. And I'm excited to be working with them. And so that was that case. I think that was 615 and change.
Yep.
And then, of course, we'll be adding money to that, every year too. We'll be adding money to that for the next.
That's right. It showed up as a flexible premium case. So was that a defined benefit?
Yes, traditional.
Wow.
Traditional defined benefit is what that was.
That's huge.
And then another case that I just submitted, it's been paid for now. That was just an established client, has money accumulating. And, I tell them, when you get so much money in your checking and savings, call me, we'll do something with it. It was just one of those situations. And then his wife, she is getting ready to retire, had close to $300,000 in a retirement plan that has earned like 2.57% over the last 5 years. And she already owned a couple LSW annuities with me. And so she called me and she said, we've been, and they live 2 hours away. We've been trying to figure out how to get together with you. I said, we'll do it on the phone. Oh, can we do that? I said, absolutely. Because some people are really scared to get out, and they don't know that you're doing business over the phone and over the computer unless you tell them. And so I said, we'll do as many meetings as we need to. So I shot her the illustrations. She went through them. We went over them again. She had some questions, shared them with her husband, and said, send me the paperwork. And so what I'm doing, and Matt, I've tried it both ways. I've tried sending all the paperwork online and getting them to sign it and scan it back to me versus printing everything off, marking where they sign, and overnighting it to them. It works way better to overnight. You know,
a pro tip right there. That is a pro tip for anybody listening. I was going to ask you that question because we have it all the time now. It's like, well, we do it online and I'm like, yeah, I don't know.
No. Listen, that paperwork between the LSW and the equity ESI paperwork, it's overwhelming. And I mean, she had it for a week and looked at it and didn't know what to do. And I just said, do you want me to mark where you should sign it and overnight it to you? She said, that would be awesome. So did that. She signed it, turned it around, had it back in 3 days, you know.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you put, just out of curiosity, did you put a return envelope in there or anything like that, or?
No, not on that. Now I do with policy receipts, but I wanted her to go to the post office and overnight it to me. And so I did not. Is that what people are doing? Going ahead and yeah.
Well, yeah, sometimes, you know, it depends on the client really. If they're pretty willing to do that. What I found a little bit just in asking around, but even in my own personal circumstances, for whatever reason, we go through a printer about every 18 months. You know, it's like you can't find the ink or, you know, this or that. And so we found the ink, but we put it in and there's like a little, I don't know, there's a little droplet that gets on the, you know, every time you print a page, it doesn't look very well. And I don't know how, if clients aren't, you know, set up for business at home, you know, emailing them all those documents, asking them to print them all out, hoping that they look good enough to actually, you know, to review, number one, and then two, sign and then get back to you. Cause a lot of people, even us here, both my wife and I do business out of the house. To scan a 45 pages, sometimes front and back, of documents is not easy. Mm-hmm. So I like how you made it really simple for them, and you sent it, made sure they knew when they were going to get it, had the little things on there so they know where to sign, and then you call them after to make sure they received it if they have any questions. So to me, it's like textbook.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I won't email the documents again. It's just, it's overwhelming. Yeah.
What do you remember what product you chose for either of those cases, the LSW annuity?
Well, the gal that I'm talking about right there, I split it between I think I put 200,000 in the fit guaranteed, and I put 95 in the rewards. The fit rewards.
Okay. All right, perfect. So the rewards for the bonus and for accumulation, and then the fit guaranteed for the income. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, what do you, how long have you been in the business? Just out of curiosity.
37 years.
Wow. All right. Nice.
Yeah, long time.
Before this, how much business did you before this whole thing, the last couple months, how much business did you transact over the phone versus now? Has that always been real comfortable for you?
Zero. I've never done anything over the phone before. Okay. I mean, unless they're adding to an IRA, you know, something like that that's already established. But no, I'm a one-on-one, sit across the desk, talk to me kind of person. And we're doing business on the computer, and the phone is new to me. Okay.
Have you done any meetings like this where you could see the person on the other?
No, you were my first.
All right. Well, and I think it's to note, you know, for the people that are out there right now, depending on when you're listening to this is right in the thick of coronavirus. We're in the first part of May. We're still sheltered in place at home. And so the nice thing about what happened a few months back, probably maybe 2 months now, is that we really came out and became clear on what we can and cannot do in terms of annuity business. And it is acceptable, absolutely, to do your business and transact it over the phone for a client. Now, you can't do any signatures for them.
Right.
or anything like that. So, but you can do the business over the phone. You could take the app over the phone. You can do the fact find, and we are open and receptive to that type of business. Life insurance works a little bit different. Life insurance, we ask that you see the client, even if it's on your phone. I put my phone away. So even if it's on your phone, just to see them a little bit before you start taking things like e-applications and what have you. But I think it's been kind of a cool jump that National Life has made over the last few weeks in a relatively short amount of time, in being very, very receptive to helping helping our agents continue to transact business, even though we've had to change the whole thing, right? You've had to change the way you do business over the last 8 weeks, and you did.
Definitely.
Well, what happens now moving forward? You said you're still calling clients. You find them sometimes more accessible than in the past.
Yes.
What do you have coming up? Do you have any good things coming up? Tell us how you got a hold of some folks. What are they receptive to listening to when you talk to them?
Well, my clients, for the most part, are established business owners over the age of 50 and conservative. And so anytime I want to talk to them about moving money out of the market, they're all ears. And I feel we're going to have a whole lot more volatility between now and the election, and probably after the election too. And they feel that, they know that too. And most of my clients are pretty savvy. And so they like annuities. They like annuities. They like the idea of not being in the market, but being tied to the market. They like that. And then of course, look, you don't want to put your money in the bank and you can't get anything there. And so I believe all my clients should have some cash on hand, and then some gold, some silver, and some annuities. And that's my story. And that's always been my story, and that's served me well over the years, and it's served my clients over the years very well. And those that I got on the gold and silver bandwagon 30 years ago, they're real happy right now.
Yeah, I bet. I bet they are.
But annuities are an easy sale. They're an easy sale because it's a run for cover situation. You want to protect what you have. It doesn't make sense to keep it in the bank when you're not earning anything. And if you're over 50, you're approaching retirement, you don't want to risk it in the market. And so an index annuity gives people the best of both worlds.
Well, so you say that, and then to me, I've been in the business since '01, but shortly before that, these products called index annuities came out. And over the last, I would say 13 years, but really in the market would maybe be 16 or 17 years, are these income riders. And there's been all these various additions, but you are a proponent of an income rider in the right situation, right?
Yes, in the right situation. And if somebody's close to retirement, going to be retiring in the next 5 to 7 years, a guaranteed lifetime income rider is awesome. But someone who's young, in their 30s or 40s, I can't see paying for a GLIR rider forever, for an incredibly long time. I just don't think that's smart.
Yep. Some of them can get very costly. I've seen some illustrations, and even in our product, let's say the FIT guaranteed income, and I love the product for income really in the first 12 years. I think what some agents have come, had some difficulty, particularly with suitability and ESI, is if a client's unsure if they want income or not, or when they're going to take it. One of those, that product in particular, but also some variable annuities that are out there that have ratchet up mechanisms where the fee is based on the benefit base. They get pricey after 13 or 14 years. Sometimes you're not just paying a point anymore. You might be paying 1.5 or 2 or 3 points related to your accumulated value. It just kind of depends on how big that benefit base got. So yeah, I couldn't agree more there. Well, what else? What words of wisdom do you have as we're wrapping up here? We have some agents out there. They've been smacked in the face with this whole thing. at coronavirus, and they're not necessarily maybe calling. They haven't emailed out. They're not doing virtual meetings. What advice would you have for them, being that you're still
Wow.
8 weeks into this thing and you're like,
Well,
you're going?
you've got to keep loading the wagon. And just because we're in a shelter in, that doesn't mean you stop working, because what you don't do now is going to impact you tremendously 3, 4, 5, 6 months down the road. And so if they don't have referrals to call on, then they need to be looking. I would, when I don't have referrals, I go back to my client list. On birthdays, I call and say, hey, happy birthday. And that's an opportunity to do a quick update. Do you need me for anything? What's going on? Have you done your taxes yet? All of that. So this is the time to be calling your clients on their birthdays, just calling up and checking on them even when it's not their birthdays. And if you're in tight with your established clients, you can always ask them for referrals. They've known you for many years. They know the quality work that you do. And so they can get some referrals from established clients and get the ball rolling there. But, I just can't imagine not working for what are this 7, 8 weeks now, and not keeping things going. You got to keep loading that wagon. If you don't, 3, 4, 5 months from now, you're not going to have any business. And that's a scary thought.
Very scary. It's scary. It's scary because when you stop working in this business, you might actually get a paycheck or two, depending on what you did 2 weeks ago, right? You might have some business coming in, but if you're not working now, where's the paychecks coming from in 6 weeks and 8 weeks and 12
well,
weeks?
That's right, Matt. And I think as long as you're busy, talking to your centers of influence, talking to your CPAs and attorneys and your clients, I think the business will be there. And, but yeah, I understand some people are using this as a snow day, and just.
It's happening.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's happening, and I don't know that some of it's on purpose. I think some of it might have just been, all right, listen, we're going to take a deep breath. We're going to get a chance to relax a little. But then after 2 weeks, they're like, some people are coming in and saying, well, what do I do? What do I do now? And we're pushing virtual, I think, at the company quite a bit. And I do mean to say the word push, not because it's the right thing, but because some of our reps are having success with that. But the reason I so enjoyed your story here is because you don't have to go virtual. You could do it old school on the phone with business owners like you used to. And that's what caught my ear when you won the contest for your agency first quarter or annuity production, is that you said, I'm calling them. And they're more receptive to picking up the phone. And I'm like, that is a lady who grew her business like I grew my business at this company, is just cold call. I was cold calling agents, right. But now it's, if you have the relationships, why not call them?
Mm-hmm. Well, exactly. And I'm slow to change. I admit that, but Matt, you have to realize I started out with a rate book and a calculator.
Yeah.
That's all National Life gave us back in the day. Okay. They started us with a rate book and a calculator.
You had it right there. You had to fill in all the modals and everything else and the little extras here. That's great.
Well, this was before computers. Then they came out with something called Omnicron, way before your time. Before your time.
Was that a computer?
It was an illustration, something where they would print the illustrations for you, is what it was.
All right.
Yeah. Big time.
Well, I got something for you. I don't know if you have any questions for me. Do you have any questions for me? I just kind of want to wrap and let you know what's coming up. It's just a little sneak peek.
Any new products coming out anytime soon?
We do.
Really? You going to tell me about them?
I am. Awesome. So I'm going to tell you what I have right now that I can say. We are coming out with some products. Right now, our SPDA products, Fit Guaranteed Income, is the #1 selling SPDA product we have. Past that, all the other products are sort of tied for last place in our annuity portfolio. They were quickly surpassed, I think is the right way to say it, by the Fit the FRS, the Flexible Premium series. We have the Fit Rewards Growth, the Fit Secure Growth, the Fit Select Income. Those basically popped ahead of the Fit Choice, the Fit Income Plus, and the Fit, let's see, what's the other one? Choice, Foundation. And so we haven't really sold much of those 3 SPDAs, and it's been obvious. So they went back and they said we should have some more favorable, pricing on SPDAs versus flexible premium. That's just how the world works. With more certainty, we should be able to give a little bit more, and it hadn't appeared that way for the last 9 months or so. So with that said, we started an SPDA revamp, and we are coming out with 4 new products. 2 are going to focus on income, just like now, and 2 are going to focus on accumulation.
Awesome.
The income product is going to be stronger in many ways than the Fit Guaranteed Income for high early income. And then we're going to have a really strong, what we call a longer term product, a Horizon. So it's a longer term hold on that product, Horizon Income. And that's going to have more potential for income. It's going to have more potential for accumulation. We're also going to have the accumulation products will have a shorter term product with a bonus, right? Just like a rewards growth, very similar, except the rates are going to be stronger because it's a single premium. And then we're going to have a longer term accumulation play, which doesn't have a bonus, but typically have a little bit better rates, kind of like a secure growth, except on an SPDA. That's not the exciting part, although it is exciting. It's, we have to see, well, what are those products made of? So here's the preview. The preview is we're going to have 2 new proprietary indexes that are phenomenal. We're going to have an S&P 500 point to point, probably the S&P 500 monthly sum, just because they're very popular in the marketplace. They're almost like table stakes for getting into the business. But that's not even the exciting part. The exciting part is we're going to have a buy-up option on these annuities. So
how would that work? How would that work, Matt?
So for a fee, let's just say 1%.
Okay.
By the way, I don't have the caps on me or the participation rates on this, but let's say if the participation rate on one of the new buckets that we have out, one of the new uncapped strategies that we're going to put in this series, similar to Barclays or Bank of America, except we have a couple of new carriers because we were able to get more favorable pricing with these carriers because of the prowess that we've had in the Flex series. But let's say the participation rate was 50% participation in this index with no cap. If you wanted to spend 1%, you might be able to buy up a 75, 80% participation rate. So over time, you'd be giving up 1 to basically get anywhere from 1.75 to 3% more over the long term. We're going to have a death benefit that's a stepped up death benefit rider. So right now we have that on the Marquee series, Marquee 8, where if you have the income rider and you died before you took income, essentially, you would have a death benefit that goes to your beneficiary, paid out over 5 years, and it would be essentially the benefit base, right? We're going to have that type of a rider that you can purchase on our accumulation products. But for an annuity product, you're going to love this. It's going to be incredible.
And when are these going to be rolled out?
June, late June. This is what it is. Knock on wood. I'm going to knock. If you hear that, it's not me knocking on wood, but late June.
Okay.
We also have, so we have competitive income. I told you that, but we're also going to have a rider that you can purchase. I don't think it's for purchase. I think it's automatically on the income rider that we have that says, if you can't perform 2 of 6 activities of daily living, we're going to enhance your income for a period of 5 years. So pretty excited.
Good.
So other than that, we're going to have better performance. We're going to have better income riders. We feel we're also going to have a death benefit feature, which most of our folks around the country loved about the Marquee 8. They just didn't really like the fact that if you didn't need it, if you didn't want it or need it, you were still sort of paying for it. So it was kind of all built in. So now we have the ability to kind of create a product, a little bit more flexibility. So I think you're going to like it.
I think I will too. Looking forward to it.
All right, cool. Well, that's all I have. Anything else you have for the audience?
I can't think of anything. I think we pretty much covered it.
Well, thank you very much for your effort and for educating me and a lot of the other folks that are going to be listening to this on Thursday this week. But then also I'm going to make it available as a recording after that. So I'm going to keep a little library of this. And thank you so much for being my first guest and participating. And what's that?
I said guinea pig.
Yeah, exactly. My guinea pig. But I knew you'd be perfect because right now everybody's going to think that you're going to come on and you're going to say, I've been doing all this virtual stuff, and they're going to be tuned out a little bit, I think, because that's what a lot of people are saying. When what you've been doing is you've been doing it old school on the phone, which I love. I still think it's the best method. And so I know they're going to be lifted. Their hearts are going to be lifted a little bit, saying, oh man, you know what? She's calling and she's having success. So you know what? I'm going to get some courage and pick up the phone.
Okay.
So, all right. Thanks, Robin. I'm going to turn this recording off now.
Good deal. Thank you, Matt.